Happy Friday, darlings. I have survived the first week. I've survived the first week of daily content here on the channel, and I'm very happy to see how everyone's been reacting to it. So welcome to our Friday Let's Talk Mental Health live stream. Whether this is your first or 20th time, I'm very happy that you're here. Before we get started, just to let you know, I am not a mental health professional. Anything that I say is just based on my experience of other people that I have interacted with or clients that I've worked with. With that being said, we just talk here about our mental health openly because that's how we shout out the stigma and that's what we should be doing. So this is just a safe place for you to come and hang out and talk about your wins, talk about your struggles, and know that you have a community that will support you here. I know last week we had an issue with bots. Hopefully that's taken care of now. I did download some software for that, and we do have some bouncers in the house. So thank you guys so much for banding together to combat these people, these bots. If you feel so inclined to support my mental health outreach, the big project that I will be announcing by the end of the month, please make sure to use the super chat or super sticker feature. The super sticker feature is also really awesome if you really want me to see your message, because sometimes we get a lot of people in here and there's a lot of messages and I don't get to see them all. So if you really want me to see your message, make sure to use that super sticker function. Every single dime goes toward my mental health outreach. We've got some noobs in here. I love it. Hello, of course, David. David's one of our amazing bouncers. Hello, Jorge. Hello, Vot. Jacob from Iowa. Love it. Aday. I am good. How are you guys? Hello, Steve. I have had a crazy week. Just making sure to stay caught up with everything while still making sure to really pay attention to my own mental health. I've had some things going on, which I will be talking about and sharing in some upcoming vlogs. But as you guys know, the whole crazy story, or if you don't, if you're new, the crazy story about Bryson deciding to break the pool here in my rental home has escalated. There's more charges. So it's been a challenge to figure out how to balance that with some other things going on, but that is how I choose to look at things now. I'm not going to sit here and agonize over why is this happening to me. I'm going to see it as a challenge that I am meant to overcome, to become stronger, to level up. For all you nerds in the house, I know that I'm not the only one. Good morning, Ofer. Good morning, Humberto. I love it. And yes, I almost forgot to announce today will be 2 hours. So instead of just a normal hour live stream, it is 2 hours today to celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month and hopefully raise a little bit more money toward that project. So 2 hours, that's lots more of crazy stories you get to hear from me, probably a lot more Breaking Bad, Handmaid's Tale, and Dexter references, and a lot more murder talk. And a lot more conversation really about how we can shift our perspective and how we can shift the energy in our lives. Of course, it's not all about meth and murder, I promise. Oh gosh, Bliss says, hello, I'm from the Philippines. It's 1:03 a.m. here. Hashtag no sleep. I'm going to be making a video about that here soon because I had some struggles with insomnia as well, and I'm finally starting to regulate my sleep schedule again. So I'm going to be making a video about that here soon, and hopefully it will help you. I'm new. Welcome, Riime. Is that how you say that? Riime Smith? Welcome. I think we have a few new people here. We're growing. Yes, Angelic, it was amazing that we finally got to post Lullaby. Funny story for you guys that have watched the Lullaby reaction is I actually had filmed that several weeks ago, but there was a block and there were issues with it. So I finally managed to get that released and was able to post it. And that was important for me because it was a step in my healing journey. And I like to share that with you guys. So I'm very happy that that got released. The Modern Dovaclin says, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm operating off of 2 hours sleep right now. Gosh, we have a lot of insomnia in the house today. So I'm glad that I have this vlog planned to share with you guys what has been working for me, because I know that that can throw you off so hard. When I'm not sleeping, it really feels like the end of the world. It just feels like I went from feeling like I'm unstoppable to just feeling like absolute garbage. Like my mental health takes a dive. It was actually uh, insomnia that really triggered a lot of my suicidal ideation. So I understand that that's a huge thing, but I promise it can be combated. I've been dealing with it for months and months, and I finally started getting it under wraps. So I'll be excited to share that with you guys. Oh, Brandon Goss says, Amanda sure is a cutie. Sure glad she didn't commit her life. Thank you so much. David says, I can't function on less than 6 hours of sleep, but I'm old. I feel like that is pretty standard, actually. They say that you're meant to get 8, but I feel as I get older, it's kind of like when you were younger where you require more. I feel like I require more sleep now. And that's okay. Just knowing where our needs are and our boundaries are is a really good thing. Samich, hello. I'm so happy you're here. So happy you're here. I know that you had a rough week, and I'm very proud of you for pressing through. Michael Jordan just said that he loves me. Do y'all see that in here? Oh, Matthew Martin says, I'm going to see a crisis worker right now. I am very proud of you for knowing when to reach out and get help. And I believe that it will help. And just know that we're all here for you as well. Matthew says, I'm going through mental hell. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're in that darkness right now, but there is another side to it. And going and seeing a crisis worker is a great first step to getting through that. And I kind of live by the mantra now that if you're going through hell, just keep going, because there is another side to it. And hopefully you'll get out before the devil even knows you're there. Remember that song. Oh, do we have an update from just some awesome person? Which I still love that so much. Oh, I think that, did you finish your project, just an awesome person? How old am I? A lady never shares. Although I'm pretty sure I've slipped and aged myself in a couple of videos talking about NSYNC and stuff. When it comes to sleep, I never feel tired until the moment I sit down at the end of the day, no matter how little sleep I get. You are lucky and I'm jealous. Wolfpack! So the Patreons, our Patreon community is my wolf pack. So I felt like I should just give a little extra love. I know we have a couple of them in the house today. We do have that goal of reaching 100. So if you are able to pledge, it's the same as buying me a cup of vegan chai every month. And all of that goes toward the mental health outreach. It's immensely, immensely helpful to be able to expand and undertake new huge projects. I wouldn't be able to do that without your support, guys. So thank you so much. But extra shout out to my wolf pack this morning. Matthew says, I may or may not have been played by a woman whose celebrity and her profession, you will see where this goes. I just hope I've not been played due to my mental health. We'll just be cautious going into situations like that. Just be very cautious and hold on to your own self-worth. And I know that when you're struggling with your mental health, that can be really hard, but just make sure that you're checking in with yourself and that you're working on your own self-worth, because relationships go south and take such a hit on our mental health when we allow our entire identity to be wrapped up with that person. And then if things don't work out, our entire world is over. So just make sure that you're staying connected to yourself and being cautious as moving forward in this potential relationship or arrangement. Thank you, Samich. I appreciate you. Oh, Edward is here. Hello. Happy Friday to you too. Just an awesome person. Yes, I finished my project for the girl I like. It was a lot of fun to make, and her reaction was really nice. I wish that we could see it. I am so excited by things like that. I live for people's reactions like that. It's so happy just seeing someone light up with joy like that. I wish I could have seen it, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you. So let's start And this is the latte, by the way. Anybody that's wondering, I did make my latte. This is the second half of my latte for this morning. Cad Roberts, happy Friday. Oh, the modded Dovaclin says the government took away my disability and they won't give it back. Fighting the government is such a pain in the butt. And I really hope that you can get someone to help advocate for you, or that you can figure things out, because that's so stressful and it's so unfair. And I'm really sorry that you're having to deal with that right now. So the good news today, it was one of those things that I saw and went, oh my gosh, this is interesting. And I really want to dive in and hear more details. So in Shasha, which is a village in the Masisi territory in Congo, Shasha is a village that's using human urine as a solution to organic fertilizer. Now, this might sound gross to us, but think about it. These people have to be very creative because they don't have a lot of resources. And this is a lesson that we can all take. Even when we don't have a lot of resources, we can be creative and find solutions. So that's the message just from reading the title of this that I got. Farming remains one of the main activities of the local population here, but in many fields, the land is becoming less and less arable. The situation has led to a decline in local production, which can no longer cover local food needs, whereas in the past, the village used to supply large cities such as Goma with basic necessities. I'm laughing about Goma because it made me think of the boss on Zelda, not anything against the city. To overcome this problem, many field owners resort to buying human urine from neighbors or other inhabitants of the village, which they then use as organic fertilizer. Paul Kanyama is a farmer and one of the initiators of the solution in Shasha. We start by placing plant bands in our fields that we then spray with human urine, which after a month's conservation has the capacity to kill any insect that may attack the plant. Afterwards, we put our seeds in our fields before a second spraying. It's a method that works perfectly well, and thanks to which the production of our fields increases again, Kanyama told our correspondent. Indeed, this is a solution that residents here say works very well and increases the production in some fields and the inhabitants of the village. Susanna Rupia is one of the farmers in Shasha. Before and during the harvest, my fields produced 2.5 bags of dry beans. During the last harvest, I got only 1 bag. Afterward, I started to apply this alternative of human urine, and little by little, I can now see its results. And that's another important thing, little by little. It didn't happen overnight. It's not like they went outside and the whole entire field was bloomed with new plants and stuff. It did take time, and that's something else we need to listen to. But I think that this is really awesome that they're finding solutions for their problems like this. Thank you, Steve. What do you guys think? I know that to us that can sound a little bit cringe, but I think that when you think of it from a perspective, when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, this is awesome that these villages are finding alternative solutions. Julia says, been waiting for this all week. I've got lots of things to get off my chest. Well, you dive right in, darling. You get whatever you need off your chest this morning, and we will hold space for it. Christian says, women in the Scottish Highlands used human urine to fix dyes into their fabrics as well. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Edward S. says, I imagine the urine produced after Amanda Latte would be even more ripe with nutrients. See, I need to be expanding my outreach so that they can be full of nutrients when they fertilize the soil. You are absolutely right, Matthew. Just take a breath. Matthew says that this person hasn't responded today. Yep, you are completely right. Take a breath. Do your own thing. If she does, she does. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But when we really send out that desperate energy, and this isn't just in people, this is pretty much in anything, when we attach to something and we send out that really desperate energy, which I get, it's so hard not to do that when you want something so bad. When we send out that desperate energy, we're actually blocking energy from coming back to us because we're so fixated on this one thing that we're kind of blocking energy flow in other areas of our life. So we're actually missing opportunities and we're shutting ourselves off to where we can't enjoy the things that that bring us happiness in a day-to-day basis. I also find it really relaxing. I don't need a phone for time either, since I can see the church's clock tower. Oh, across the street. I wish we had things like that. The modded Dewacklin, Mintomata, do you have a Discord group? I can't use the Facebook group anymore because I quit Facebook. Yes. Can someone drop the Discord? David, Gaps, can you drop the Discord link here for the modded Dewacklin, please? We do have a Discord. I will admit that I'm not super familiar with Discord, so I personally am not very active in there, but there are a lot of people in the community that are, so it is very active. I apologize that I'm not super active in there, especially this month, because I just had so much trying to balance keeping up with the students at the Happiness Boost course over in the Facebook group, and of course all of the content here, and the pool situation, and Bryce and my son, and just keeping everything balanced. I apologize. I can only have my feet in so many different ponds, but I'm trying. I really am. Julie says, I've been struggling with taking care of a little 4-week-old kitten who's slowly passing away. It's been heart-wrenching, just trying to make her the most comfortable that I can. Oh, I'm just so happy that you are there for that kitten, that kitten is going to know love and is going to feel your energy. So, well, yes, that's really tragic that the kitten is going to pass. The kitten knew love its whole life, and that is beautiful because not every person or animal gets that opportunity. So you're giving that gift to this kitten. I actually had a pigeon. I think I told you guys this story last week because it had happened right before, but I'd hit a pigeon on the way to taking my son to school. I didn't hit it, actually. I take that back. I didn't hit it. I saw it in the road and it was already injured and I kind of swerved, but it had been hit. And I saw this pigeon and I pull over and I back up and I scoop the pigeon up and it looks like it's going to be okay. She looked like she just needed a little time to heal, that maybe her wing was injured or her foot was injured. So I scoop her up and I put her in my lap and think, okay, I'm going to take her home and research how to deal with this. And unfortunately, she ended up passing in my lap about 10 minutes later. And a part of me, of course, is crying and I'm really emotional. But then a part of me is thinking, this pigeon knew that someone cared. This pigeon didn't die alone in the road, wasn't getting crushed by cars. The last thing that this pigeon knew was love. And the fact that I could give that to another living being meant a lot to me. And it means a lot that there are other people that are doing that as well. People like Julia here that are giving love to that animal because they do deserve it as much as we do. Oh, Christian says, I run a rabbit rescue and losing, a baby is not great for mental health. Nope, it certainly is not. I grew up on a farm and we had a lot of rabbits, and I remember the process of not all of them made it, and that was always really hard, especially as a child, because rabbits were kind of my animal growing up. I had this big bunny collection of different stuffed animals and knickknacks and stuff, which I actually just started letting go of a little bit more and more lately. I had kept many pieces of it over the years, and I've been in this place where I'm trying to listen to my own advice and let go of things as I'm ready, and just checking in every so often and seeing what more I can let go of and what more I can share with other people. And there are parts of it that are difficult. And right now I've been selling some of my dad's stuff to raise money, not to raise money, but to be able to pay for this pool issue, because I don't have a choice. They're not even letting me pay in payments. I have to pay the full nearly $1,000 bill by the end of the month. So I've been selling some of that, and that's a little difficult. And I might make a vlog about that. Do you guys think I should make a vlog about that? I'm kind of curious, just as the process of having to let go of things versus the process of being ready to let go of things, and how to know the difference. And if we do end up having to let go of things that we're not ready to, how to process that. Do you guys think that that would be a good topic just to discuss a little bit? Because it has been challenging for my mental health to see these things go. But at the same time, I think that I don't want to say I've been picky, but I've been a little bit picky with a lot of the stuff because I want to make sure that it's going to someone who's going to really appreciate it as much as we did and will love it as much as we did. So that's been that's been a process, but I am curious what you guys think about that. See how much I'd watch it. Awesome. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should touch on that. Samuel says, is there ways to not go through cold night sweats from PTSD? Like, do you know what to do? Unfortunately, the night sweats can be a response to the anxiety and to the cortisol that's flooding the system, to that fight or flight response. So it is a matter of figuring out what specifically is triggering it and working on that trigger, whether through exposure therapy or whether through journaling or whether through seeing a mental health professional. Working on your lifestyle in your day life is really the best way to combat that, because it can be really upsetting. I keep my house pretty cool. I had an issue waking up with night sweats for a while from the frozen nightmares, actually. And I started keeping my house cooler and cooler because of it, because it made them less intense, just to know that I was in a cool environment to combat that in a way. But really it's a matter of, unfortunately, facing whatever it is that's causing them. So if it's PTSD from obviously a specific event, which usually PTSD is a response to an event or a series of events, it's tackling that event and moving through that to lessen the side effects. But in the meantime, you can obviously cool your room. You can get one of those, they're little pouches that have gel pellets in them, and you can cool them. You can keep those in the freezer if you have a fridge in your room or something like that. You could put it in there. You could just put it in the freezer and put that on your feet at night, because if your feet cool off, then it will cool off the rest of you, so it can help combat those night sweats a little bit. If anybody else has any suggestions, feel free to offer them, but I know that was what worked for me, because I did get it from the nightmares I was having for a while. Thank you, Eugene. Eugene says you are making a difference, AWeb. Thank you. Oh, just throw what you need out into the world and eventually someone will catch it. I like that. It's true. Bob Simmons asks Matthew, what does a crisis worker do for you? That's a really good question. I'm curious to hear Matthew's suggestion, because that does vary from place to place and person to person, obviously, and situation to situation. The obvious priority of a crisis worker is to make sure that we're not a danger to ourselves or to anyone else. And that starts with, they usually do start with talk therapy if we're not in a place of being actively suicidal or actively violent towards others. If that's the case, then there is the risk of being locked up for a bit or kept in a hospital until we can stabilize. But a crisis worker can be really great just to help identify some of the core issues and to help start getting that out in the open, because when we're in crisis, we're just really raw, right? So we're in this place of being completely raw and completely open. And think about it. If you have a bruise or you have an open wound on you, if someone touches that, it's going to hurt because it's so open. And they're going to help you get to a point where at least it's not so raw. So processing through some of those feelings. So crisis workers can help, obviously, keep you safe in the moment. If you're needing medication, they can help get you with a person that can prescribe that and everything. So there's lots of things that a crisis worker can do, but it just depends on what your needs are. For me, when I get into those situations, I know that isn't what I'm needing, but for a lot of people, I know that it is incredibly helpful just to have someone to sit down with them and say, okay, this is where we're at. How are we going to get out of here? Oh, thank you, David. Thank you for the sticker. Tamara Morai? Suffer from CPTSD, so complex PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I try my best to be happy and get through the day. For me, what is CPTSD? It's Oh my God, I just said it. Complex PTSD. I'm so sorry. Yes, complex PTSD is the diagnosis I'm assuming that she's referring to. Complex PTSD is a little trickier, and I'm not an expert on that by any means, so I'm not going to speak specifically on it, but I do understand that it can have some severe symptoms, especially the anxiety and depression can actually be in tangent with the CPTSD. It's so hard to say all at once. Yes, Matthew Martin says, Bob, they let you open up about what you're going through, and I'm getting their advice about the woman I'm talking to now. It can very much help. I'm really happy to see you here, Bob. I know that you've been struggling a lot, and I see you say here that you're not doing well, but you're here, so you're aware of what you need, and you're aware that you need to be connecting to us and getting that hopefully insight of the next step to take, right? So I think that you're moving in the right direction. It's just that when we're in a place of such pain, moving in the right direction might not be noticeable unless we're really knocking out the big guns right out the gate. And that's what I had to do, because when I was in that place of being suicidal, when I came down off that ledge, I had to start knocking out the big stuff that was going to give me the most bang for my buck right out the gate. So there are things that you can do. I don't know if you've already taken my free 5-day challenge, but those are the things that I implemented that really helped me start to come out of the dark. That gives a kind of an oversight of the things that I did. So that 5-day challenge is at happinessboost.life. And it, like I said, just gives my 5 puzzle pieces of happiness that were really instrumental in me getting out of that dark place initially. And then, of course, there were other things that I adapted over time, but these were absolutely huge for me. Jonathan says, very well said. I just have a problem opening up. I think a lot of people do, because we're indoctrinated to believe that we're not supposed to, which is really silly, because this is something that everybody experiences. Symptoms of anxiety is something that everyone experiences. Everyone struggles with their mental health sometimes. And that's the point here, is just normalizing these conversations. Edward says, thankful warm weather has finally arrived. Well, you can come to Arizona and have all of our warm weather. Nothing better than getting out in the great outdoors. You're right, though. We've had really good weather right now. And it's been really nice just laying out my hammock reading, or just going to the park. I've really been trying to suck up a little bit of extra time right now, a little bit extra outdoors before the summer hits, and I have to be a bit more creative and do my walks at night and things like that, be out more in the early morning and in the evening. So I sit out on my balcony and do my morning ritual, and that's some fresh air. And I usually will go for a walk in the evening, and that's a little bit more nature. So I agree with you, Edward. It is very, very important to incorporate that. See, Bob is saying the same thing. That seems to be one of my problems, is talking about it. And that's why professionals, if they're a good professional, if they're worth their salt, are meant to help you and to help you open up. And I had a lot more success with a life coach than I did with a mental health professional. And when I did end up getting help from a mental health professional, it's because she had more of a life coach approach. And that was one of the reasons that I really wanted to do coaching myself. I am a certified life coach, because I wanted to share that approach with people. And I do still talk to people. I do still take clients, because I think it's important sometimes that a therapist will tell you, and this is just my experience, a therapist or mental health professional tends to tell you this is what's wrong and this is what you need to do. But a life coach is just going to ask you questions and, yes, give insights, but more help you look inside yourself and start finding those things. Because the things that we need to heal are in us. We don't need somebody else to give us some magic answer. And coaches are meant to ask more questions and kind of drag it out of you. So if you haven't considered a life coach, maybe a life coach would be a better approach for you than mental health professional if opening up tends to be really hard for you. Because in my experience with therapy, it was always, well, how do you feel? That's such a vague question. I hate when they do that. I hate when you go into a mental health professional and it's, how do you feel? Well, like crap. If I felt good, I wouldn't be here, would I? Oh, thank you so much, Creole, for dropping by, listening from the road. Welcome. Please keep your eyes on it. I mean, I know that my hair looks amazing today, but please try to keep your eyes on the road. Woods Gump has been struggling with food this week. Is it a matter of not having access to food? Because I'd be happy to help find some resources in your area. I'm sure that a couple of others here we can band together and help you find resources and stuff in your area. I know that is something no one should ever have to face, especially in any developed country. I don't know where you are, but I'd be happy to try to help figure something out for you. Christian, I'm curious what you think about befriending your inner critic. It seems to be in conflict with methods like self-compassion or refraining, but I also think just shutting off the inner critic doesn't work. You are absolutely correct. It does not. I think that you can use the inner critic in a positive way. For example, if the inner critic is constantly telling you you're ugly, for example, that was a tape that got stuck very in my head. It was, you're not attractive. You're unattractive without makeup. Well, obviously that is pointing you in a certain direction of insecurity. I don't like the way I look. Okay, is this a matter of accepting, or is this something that I can change? Do I not like the way I look because I want to lose weight, or because I just want to take more time in the morning with myself? You can you can take the things that the inner critic says and still be able to reframe them compassionately. So if the inner critic, for example, like I said, is saying, you're really ugly today, you can say, you know what, maybe I do just need to get up and spend a little bit of extra time on myself, maybe give myself a hand massage with some nice lotion, or spend some more time on my hair, or actually shave this morning. If you're getting into that mindset, you can use the inner critic to your advantage if you just kind of shift. I wish you'd say that a little more gently. Can you say that a little more compassionately? And for the most part, I have had success with shifting the inner dialogue of my critic. Oh gosh, I don't know who that is. Random people. Oh, actually, I think that's for the special project. So I think that's something that I probably need to get back to after our stream. But you guys have my attention right now. You guys are my priority. But I think that is something that's going to help move forward with the project. So excitement. It's a number I don't recognize, but it did come up with the name. So you guys can't see. It's a secret. It's a secret to everybody. But yes, to answer your question, I do think you can work with your inner critic. I don't think that you have to, or really can, shut it off. With my shadow, there were so many tapes and limiting beliefs that I had stuck in my head, and a lot of it just took looking at them differently. One that really pops to my mind is once you stop striving for perfection, you might as well be dead. And that came from Nip Tuck, which I watched when I was a teenager, which put so many unhealthy limiting beliefs in my head. But that was one of the big ones. And that was something that my shadow, my critic, started picking up. And I had to, over the years, really find a healthy relationship with the idea of perfection. Because obviously we should be always striving to improve and be better, which that's the takeaway message there is, if we stop striving to grow, that's kind of what I changed it to, then we might as well not even be here, because we can always be growing, we can always be learning, we can always be expanding our consciousness. And I think that when I shifted that from, okay, it's not perfection as much as it is growth, when I stopped striving for growth, I shouldn't be dead, obviously, but I need to energize myself again. So that's an indication that I'm needing to be energized, that I'm needing to bring some life into me in some way, so to speak. Thank you, Mick. Mwah. Hello. Samuel says, I still see the place where I attempted to take my life and talk to my person I trust. So I assume that that means that you're now at a place where you're feeling comfortable with seeing that. I think you're saying the physical place, and you're more comfortable with seeing that now, and you are reaching out to your support person. Am I understanding that correctly? That is amazing. I know that that can be very hard. David, thank you so much for providing that for Woods Gump. I see that you provided the information for a food bank in his area. Thank you so much. You will not be fine if you just drink water. Please, please, please reach out and utilize these services that are there for people like you. You very much deserve the help. You very much deserve the services. You matter. Please, 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 please make sure that you're taking care of yourself and getting help. I feel like Gary Hoffman says, I feel like that sounds ridiculous, but I'm empathetic. It can really feed off the energy that I put in front of me. I just wonder if I'm using it as I would a substance. You can. Yeah, you absolutely can start becoming addicted to that energy. Oh, the Mata Difficult says, I still wonder if I could have gotten her to open up. Would she have seen 18? Unfortunately, people that are in that mindset tend to shut off. And once they shut off, it's very, very hard to get them to open up, even if we love them, even if they know beneath the symptoms of depression that we love them. It can be very hard to even know how to open up. And I know that it's very common for people to blame themselves during this time, but I really always tell people that there's nothing that we can do if we don't know. And there's nothing that we're not mind readers. We don't know what that person needs to hear. And that doesn't make you a failure in any way, shape, or form. It makes you human. We can't read someone's mind. And if they are in that place, unfortunately, we can't always save them. We can do our best, and we can live with love, and we can be open to listening to people and to sharing our own journeys, so that way they feel comfortable opening up. But we can't force someone to open up or to heal if that's not what they're on the path to do. Unfortunately, sometimes people do lose their battles. Oh, David tagged another comment. I have to be honest, I have a hard time being honest with my therapist because I was put in inpatient treatment when I was a teen after attempting suicide. Always afraid of that. Thank you, David, for making a super sticker of this from Mike Stubblefield. I had that exact same thing happen. I had called a suicide hotline when I was a teenager. I was still living with my parents, and I had talked to them, and then at the end of the call, I said, okay, thank you, and I hung up. Well, because I didn't apparently know how the end process went, that I needed to assure them that I was going to be okay and everything, they ended up sending the authorities to my house. So uniformed police officers showed up to my house, which of course scared the hell out of my parents. And now my parents are aware that I'm having these feelings. And I was pretty open to tell my parents that I was struggling. They didn't know I was having emotional difficulties, but they didn't know to what extent. And this was really hard for my parents. And of course, I didn't trust anyone. So I totally empathize with that fear. Just so you know, they will not admit you or report you to authorities unless you say that you are actively suicidal and you have a plan. That is the big thing that will trigger professionals to report, is if you have a plan in motion. So that's what they'll ask. If you say, I'm having these suicidal thoughts, the first question is going to be, do you have a plan? Can you promise me you're going to be safe? And if you don't have a plan and you can promise your safety, a professional is not obligated to report you, and in 99% of circumstances will not, because they're not trained to. I can't say that none would, but the training stipulates that you have to have a plan. You have to be an active danger to yourself or someone else. So if you're in a place where you have a plan to hurt yourself or someone else, then yes, you will be admitted. But otherwise, opening up and saying that you're having these thoughts, that you are struggling, that you think about suicide, those things will not trigger someone to report you. So thank you for bringing that up. That's something that I think a lot of people are afraid of, because I think that People have heard horror stories that they've experienced uncomfortable things like that. But I just to let you know that I can say from a professional standpoint, because I volunteered for different suicide hotlines before, and I do have friends that are therapists, and I've asked that before what the guidelines are, and I was trained with those guidelines when I was a suicide prevention hotline operator. And yes, those are the stipulations. Julia says, I feel like that as tragic as the death of a little kitten is, it teaches us a lot. She's made me more resilient. So we could have euthanized her, but we wanted to give her time with her siblings. That's beautiful. Krill catfishing, a simple smile and a good morning gesture to a perfect stranger can make a world of difference in someone's day. Always take the opportunity to be kind. One of the things that I really live by is when I don't know what else to do, I try to think of what is the most loving thing I can do in a situation. So if I am stuck at a crossroads and I'm not sure what decision to make, or I'm questioning whether or not I should bring something up to someone or talk to them about it, I ask, is this the most loving thing I can do in this situation for myself and for those other people? What is the most loving thing I can do for everyone involved, myself included? Carrie says it definitely helps, but I just wonder if it's become a crutch, being able to pick what I want to feel vicariously through reactions videos to avoid feeling what I feel. I've pushed my limits with drugs in the past, so I think I'm out of chances. And if I got back into drugs, it would be the end of me. I do not want to see that happen as a recovered addict myself. That is, I've been down that road. I've seen that road, and it never ends well. I don't think that you're living vicariously. I think that, and this is just coming from my experience, when I see a song, when I see a video, and I really attach to that, I'm attaching to it because in some way it is expressing my feelings. And I will give you advice that my mental health professional, my former mental health professional, I'm not seeing anyone now, my former mental health professional gave me. And I had a tendency, I was going through exposure therapy at the time, and I kept explaining how I was feeling with Linkin Park lyrics. And eventually she said, I appreciate that this is how you're wanting to share, but what does this lyric mean to you? And at first I got really frustrated, but then I had to say, okay, what is this reflecting specifically for my story? So if you're watching a reaction on my channel or on someone else's channel, or you're watching a music video and you are being validated, that's a lot of the reason that people watch these, is because it validates what they're already feeling. And that's why I thought it'd be such a good idea to do this with mental health. It validates what you're already feeling. Sit with it afterwards. So watch that reaction, but then sit with it and maybe journal, or maybe just think, take 10 or 15 minutes to yourself to let your mind go, okay, what did this bring up for me? What is at the forefront of my mind right now? What am I thinking about? What feelings am I having? How does that show up in my body? So instead of just saying, I'm sad, okay, how is that sadness showing up? Carrie also says, I got in an abusive relationship with a narcissist and an expert level gaslighter, and I lost myself, and I'm having a hard time finding me again. My darling, you very much will. I have a history with gaslighting and narcissistic abuse, and it is so hard, but I promise you it is absolutely possible. If you'd like, I actually was considering making a video about healing from that as well, whether an affirmation video or just a vlog talking about my experience and giving some tips. I was thinking about doing that because I know there's so many people that struggle with losing their identity to people like that. I just want to remind you, I know that you know this inside, but I think that you need to hear it from someone else. You did not deserve what happened to you, and you are not crazy despite what that person has tried to convince you. You are not crazy. You are so very worthy of love. And I think that just being curious and exploring things again, being open to different experiences, is a good first step to start getting your identity back, because you start finding what your interests are, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, what your boundaries are. And actually, we spend a day on that as well in my free 5-day challenge. So if you haven't taken that, again, it's happinessboost.life. And we do talk about setting boundaries and the importance of that, the importance of how that reflects with your mental health, how that's a huge skill with mental health. Because if we don't set boundaries, then we're going to lose our identity really fast. And that's a huge factor in solidifying your identity. Before we pass the first hour, I know we're going to be here 2 hours, but we have so much conversation and I really don't want to forget our beautiful Snap Cup. So to everyone that is new, the Snap Cup is just a way for us to share our wins here on the community. So every week before the live stream, usually a day before, sometimes 2 days before, I post over in the community and allow people to share their wins, their mental health wins for the week, and then I read them here on stream. So this is inspired by Legally Blonde 2, which means we have to sing the Snap Cup song because this is the sacred vessel that helps all of us connect. So I know some of you know this. I know some of you are going to be singing this while I'm doing this. Please remember to text your own, drop your own snaps here for our wins for the week. So Snap Cup time, gather you round, friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a Snap Cup. Hope that was louder. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on my snaps here. So we have some amazing wins for the week that I'm excited to share. You can also drop your wins here. I will try my best to see them again. Use that super sticker feature if you really want me to see them. And I can't. I know I'm getting lost right now because there's so much amazingness going on, so many comments. I'm trying my best. But this is from Marissa, who was posting under Anthony J's account. Anthony J is a regular here in the community, and he wanted his mental militia, as he refers to us, to know that he underwent major organ removal surgery as part of his cancer treatment. He survived and gripped Marissa's hand. And he's in a medically induced coma right now, but is responsive. So first and foremost, snaps to Anthony for surviving, for sharing this with us, and snaps for Marissa for being there and for being able to share this update with the community here. I'm so happy to hear that this is going well and that his treatment's going well and that he's recovering. And I will send so much love and positive energy for continued recovery. So snaps here, drop your snaps here in the chat. Carrie says, I appreciate everyone's encouragement. This is my first time on a live, and I see that it might be something I didn't know I needed. Thank you so much. Glad that you're getting what you need out of it. Sarah Ray Living Life. March 28th marked 1 year anniversary of her overdose. She's come so far, learning Dbt skills to help with struggling and using skills to help not fall back down that path. Snaps to you for reaching your year since that overdose. I hope you guys can hear that. Of that, since that overdose, I'm very proud of you for making that year. I know every day can be a challenge sometimes, but it's so rewarding. I'm proud of you for learning those skills, for using those skills. Dbt skills are amazing. They are taught to individuals specifically that are living with borderline personality disorder. So I have went through Dbt as well, and I found it very effective. Some of those things I incorporate in my Happiness Boost course because I found it so helpful. So I intertwine a lot of that in with the things that I am sharing and teaching that I learned on my own. So I'm very proud of you. It is great to have a skill set and to know when to use them. Another thing that we teach, we spend a whole day teaching that toolbox. So if you need to learn how to build a toolbox, make sure to jump over happinessboost.life. Come into your inbox every day for 5 days. If you can handle that much of me, make sure to sign up. David Gaps planted 2, I'm probably going to ruin this, crepe myrtles last summer that started blooming this week. So he kept them alive in the cold Oregon winter. Snaps for David for keeping them alive. I've been so overjoyed seeing my blooms. So thank you guys for kind of inspiring that Easter celebration that I had where I planted those marigolds. I'm very excited to see the blooms here in the coming weeks. Felipe says, fundamentally, only 2 things made sure I'm still here, Mom and Slipknot. As twisted as it may seem, it was something where I found to identify myself with. Not twisted at all. If it wasn't for Linkin Park, I wouldn't be here so many times over. So that is not twisted at all. It's totally normal. You are using your skill. You're using this music, and you're using this bond that you have with your mom to keep going. And I'm proud of you. So it's not effed up at all. I'm proud of you. Dimitri says, what's wrong with your voice? You're talking without any barrier, and why I have feeling that you don't have a natural voice. I don't understand. I'm sorry if my voice is off. Does anybody else have hearing issues with my voice? I hope that it's picking up this mic and not the headphone mic, because the headphone mic's right here, so you might be hearing a lot of feedback if that's the case. Am I getting louder? Am I louder now? Is this thing on? I think this is Mariah, 462, saw a therapist this week for first time in 2 years, in person, has done so much heavy work over Zoom. It was nice to hug and thank the therapist in person. That is amazing. Well, snaps to you for continuing with your therapy even through the transition when we had to do it remotely, and snaps to you for going back, and snaps to you for all the heavy work you've done over those 2 years. I'm proud of you. Oh, we have a sticker here. David Kaplan, thank you so much. I lost my wife 2 years ago, and I'm still dealing with it. Have you dealt with loss or how to deal with it? Yes, I have. And actually, I already filmed, and I'm going to be posting, excuse me, a video about that in a couple of days. I lost both my parents. I lost a baby through miscarriage. I lost my beloved dogs after 17, 15, and 9 years. I have had to deal with a lot of loss of friends through ending friendships. So yes, I've had to deal with a lot of loss in my life, and I'm going to be posting over the weekend a vlog that is specifically for dealing with loss and grief and how we can shift that, because in the beginning, this is what I wish I would have known, is we're going to go through that process and it's going to be uncomfortable. And for me, it took years for me to come to terms with losing my parents, and I'm still coming to terms with losing my baby that I lost in 2020, fall of 2020. But there's so many things that we can do to shift it from being a place of despair to having more of a lens of how do I share their love with the world? How do I connect with that love that I obviously have for this person, and that's why their death is affecting me so much. So thank you so much for your support, and that is coming up because it is something that's very challenging for a lot of people, and has been a process for me. It's been a process. It's very much been a learning experience, but I can feel myself leveling up through it. So the Ragnarok says, last time I used drugs, I landed up in the hospital with kidney failure. I took an overdose of heroin. I hope dearly that you are recovering now and doing better and healing. Oh, Elise says, Amanda, you're the queen of caring. Do I get a crown? I really like a crown. Her head looks really good in a tiara. That was a Legally Blonde reference in case you guys have never seen it. Felipe says, having my dad mock up the fact that I'm vegetarian also doesn't help. Oh, I'm so sorry for that. I have dealt with that. I'm vegan, and I have dealt with a lot of mocking and a lot of people making fun of me. And it's just, they don't understand, and they might never understand. But as long as you're strong in your convictions, you're strong in your beliefs, then the best you can do is combat it with facts. But if they still don't understand, then just know in your heart that you're doing the right thing for you and you're making the best decision for you, and nobody can take that away from you. But I do completely understand. I've had people in my life that are very annoying about their expression of my veganism. Edward S., you're in the house. I know you are, because I just saw you a minute ago. Exposure therapy was very successful in continuing triumph over anxiety. I just was sharing my exposure therapy experience, and I think that that had helped Edward a little bit, he had said. So I'm very proud of you, very, very proud of you for moving forward, for facing the fears. And I say this all the time. Sometimes when we're going through these processes, it's not comfortable, but we got to do it uncomfortable, and then we can move through it and really begin to process and really begin to move forward. And I know that's what you're doing. I know you're healing, and I'm so proud of you. Sandwich, if it wasn't for Amanda in the community, I wouldn't be here. Well, you're part of the community, my love, and I am very humbled and I'm very touched, but you are contributing to us as well because you're helping us open up and have conversation about the uncomfortable stuff. And I'm happy that you are here, and I'm happy that you're finding comfort in this. I know that you've had a hard time, and I know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but I believe in you, and I believe that you can get through it. I finally been told the date when I will be starting my new epilepsy medication. Lee Wesley says it'll be on the 19th of this month. I hope that that really works for you and helps. So snaps for keeping with it. Idling around says, since my sister announced her pregnancy, I haven't hurt myself. It's only a few days, but I usually hurt myself every day. It is not only a few days. It is a few freaking days. It is a few days. You went that many hours, thousands and thousands of minutes without hurting yourself. And I give you the biggest snaps for that. I am glad that you found something that grounded you, that inspires you, that keeps you anchored here so that you can see your worth and so that you can start to heal. And I did post a video a while back. David, if you can find that and drop that here in the comments. I did post a video a while back about how to deal with self-harm urges, because I am a recovered self-harmer as well. So I know how hard that is. And it is not just a few days. It is a few friggin' days, guys. Am I right? Am I right? Anybody that's dealt with that knows that the first few days are the hardest. The first few days of giving up vices or of quitting a behavior like this are the hardest, and you made it, you did it. So snaps for idling around. Got lots this week. I love it. Skull Crusher. Listened to and played a lot of 80s music. It's positive, loving messages is like feeling needed and loved. So again, using that skill, using music to heal, to manage our emotions. Snaps to Skull Crusher for that. Thank you so much. We have another pledge here. Curl Catfishing was in a verbally abusive marriage for 3 years. Met a woman after the divorce that saved me from my darkness. Our 12th wedding anniversary is Sunday. That makes me so happy. Well, snaps to you for finding that, for holding on. I was in a marriage that did not work for me. It was not serving me. And I know it wasn't serving the other person either, even though he is a wonderful person. We just weren't right for each other. And I'm not engaged or married or anything, but I also am in this relationship now that has really been helping my mental health, that has really been serving it, that has really been helping me grow and helping me feel all these positive things that I don't think I'd felt I know I hadn't really felt in previous relationships. I'm so happy for you. Happy early anniversary. T. Montgomery. Surgeons called saying I have to be tested for nicotine and be free of it for a WK. As much as I enjoyed smoking, I'm over living with a bag stuck to my stomach through all of the paraphernalia, for lack of better terms, through all the paraphernalia away. So through all of the rolling stuff away. Yay! Congratulations. Snaps for T. Montgomery. As many of you know, I am a previous smoker. My dad smoked when I was growing up, and I had to watch him slowly die of emphysema. It was pneumonia that took him in the end, but he had emphysema, and it was absolutely brutal to watch him. He suffered a lot going through that, and I am always so happy when I see people quit. So snaps for T. Montgomery for quitting and taking your power back. Cold Void 616, just stopped to let you know, as a suicide survivor myself, I actually am not feeling fine, but people like you and other reaction channels help me a great deal. It is okay if you're not feeling fine. Just make sure that you're doing things that help you take that tiny step in the right direction, and you'll get there. It's one step at a time, but you will get there, and I'm glad to be providing any level of comfort and insight for you. So I believe in you. I know you'll make it. I know you'll get through this. Samich91, here you are. Yesterday was 3 years since Dad passed. I think this is actually 2 days ago now. Was 3 years since Dad passed away. And He made it through the day without doing anything crazy. I know how hard anniversaries can be. The anniversary of my dad's passing is this month, so snaps to you for making it through. And on days like that, if all we do is lay and lounge around and just be gentle with ourselves and connect to the memories and stuff, no matter what you're doing on that day, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, is perfectly okay. Take time on anniversaries. They're hard for all of us. I have two and a kind of rough, not anniversary, but a rough date coming up. So I have 3 within a month. So I very much empathize how difficult that is. And yes, I will be sharing some of that this month as well. Bob, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Ashley says you're an inspiration. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but on YouTube specifically, my camera doesn't focus correctly and I don't know what to do, so I'm sorry if it's a little bit glitchy. Carrie says, I'm trying to quit smoking too. My grandpa died of cancer and COPD, and that should be enough to make me quit. But then I get down on myself when it's not, and just exacerbates my challenges. I actually made a video in September about my dad's story, and it was to encourage people to quit smoking. I would be absolutely thrilled to help in any way that I can with that process. I know that it's not easy to quit. My dad cold turkey 3 packs a day, and he'd been smoking from 12 to 55. So he'd been smoking for decades, and he cold turkey 3 packs a day. But I know that that's not feasible for everyone. We need support, and you have the support of the community. I very much believe in you. I know that it's not easy, but it is so worth it. If nothing else, just think of the fact that you will taste food again. Food is not as gross as it is when you smoke. I remember when I quit smoking, that was the best moment to me, is as my taste buds started coming back, because cigarettes just absolutely kill your taste buds. So you have to pour a pound of salt and sugar on everything just to get any taste. And when I quit smoking and the days went by, I could notice flavors becoming more potent, and that was so amazing. And I could smell things again, and it was incredible. So there's so many positive aspects of quitting smoking, other than just the long-term effects. There's short-term effects too. Vodvikar, you're in here too, I think. Going to an ice cream parlor today to just sit and enjoy a big bowl of chocolate ice cream. Haven't done that in 2 years. Taking time for yourself is always worth some snaps. So snaps for that. See if they have any vegan ice cream for me. Check it out. I saw that Ben & Jerry's just released a vegan fish food, and fish food by Ben & Jerry's used to be my favorite ice cream. So I'm not a big ice cream person, but that was one I enjoyed. So I think I might jump on board with that and go grab some here soon and see how the alternative is. Casper says, how do you cope with social gatherings while being mentally fatigued? Any tips? First and foremost, say no more often. If you feel like you need to get some rest, that is absolutely okay. I limit my social gatherings to make sure that there's time between them. Because if I have to be really social multiple days in a row, I will start to burn out and feel very mentally fatigued. I am big on, if I am in a social situation, just taking semi-frequent breaks, even if it's just a couple of minutes to go outside, take a breath, go in the other room, read something funny. Just taking breaks here and there makes all the difference for me, because I do have some social anxiety. And if I'm in a social situation that I know, like I go into it knowing that it's going to be challenging, because I'm either tired that day, or it's going to be something that's going to trigger me in some way. I have a baby shower coming up for a friend, and I really want to be there for her, but I know that's going to be really challenging for me mentally because of my own journey, my own miscarriage, my own grief, and I don't want to project that on her, but I know that I'm going to have to walk away. And in that situation, I'm going to have my own game plan prepared of, okay, I might need to text my friend or my partner. I'm going to have some funny stuff pulled up just to look at, or I'm going to have things written out either on paper or on my phone that I can look at. Or I have, this is something for me, I have my parents' wedding bands around my neck. So sometimes I will just hold them so I can feel that energy and just connect to that. So having some kind of escape plan if you need it, B, having something to connect to. So just connecting to an item or a letter that you've written yourself, or maybe a stone, a crystal of some kind, to ground yourself. So trying to stay grounded. But if you are mentally fatigued, I am really, I'm really pressed to ask why. Like the main thing there, those are all great coping mechanisms, but the main thing I would suggest is to look at that and try to figure out, why am I feeling so mentally fatigued? Do I need some rest? Do I need to take a break from social interaction? Do I need to step away from social media and stuff online? Are there ways that I can take a step back and really focus more on myself? Is my nutrition conducive to optimal mental health and optimal energy, which was so crucial to me. If I would have kept eating the way I was, I would have never been able to heal mentally. And that's another thing that we teach in the Happiness Boost course, in that free 5-day Happiness Boost challenge, is eating for optimal mental health, eating for optimal energy. So those are just a few suggestions. I hope that helps. Let me know if that is helpful for you. I actually wanted to create something like that around the holidays, because I know that it's something that a lot of people struggle with, is knowing when to really, what to go to, because you feel pressured to go to everything and you don't have to, and you feel exhausted once you're there because there's just so much other stuff going on. So I totally get it. All right. Last one, salty assassins. Yum. At a car show in Moorhead, Minnesota, and saw a booth for suicide prevention, and the flyer shows 2 suicide prevention organizations that are supporting the event, and that is amazing. So that is a win for the whole mental health community, that there is more awareness, that there are these booths to be sharing information and stuff with people who might be struggling. So snaps for Salty Assassins for sharing that, but snaps for the mental health community for being more out there and sharing the message. Karen, I'm really sorry. I don't really know. I know that Indy is fine, but I don't think she's coming back to YouTube anytime soon. So I don't know really. I haven't kept in touch with her, so I don't know what her path right now is. So I'm really sorry that I can't answer that. Indy is someone that I had done some work with in the past. We had collaborated in the past. So I do get asked here and there where she is, and I'm really sorry. I just don't know. Lee Wesley, my mom, after she quit smoking, started to do things to keep herself busy. After she stopped smoking, she would do in the garden, go for walks, help me when I care for her. So she began to do the same thing for me. Yes, I think that it's really important when you pledge to quit smoking to have a plan on how to manage the cravings, manage the urges, manage the oral fixation and the fixation with your hands. It is very important. Oh, Carrie, did you have one? Please put it in here. I didn't see it. So if I missed it, it wasn't because I was ignoring it or that I was trying not to read it. Share it here. Share it, share it. I don't know about her social media, Karen. I'm sorry. Oh, Ashley says hugs for Salty. There's lots of hugs, lots of snaps. Felipe says, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's Felipe or Felipe, but says, the CBD is mainly like a boost of that feeling to relax. I know that's true for a lot of people. Oh, David stickered another comment here. Casper Kronteff question, how do you cope with social gatherings while being mentally fatigued? I just answered that, David. I just spent 5 minutes answering that. I know you get lost. I know you get lost because you're talking to everyone in here, but I did give those tips, but thank you for making sure that I saw that, because it was great. It was a great opportunity. Ragnarok, I just want to say, I don't know any of you guys, but I love all of you. It takes courage to reach out, and I admire your courage. We love you too. Edward's right. Nothing's too small, Carrie. Sometimes I just focus on the little things. Like, I put on clothes today. I took a shower today. As a matter of fact, hang on. Let me see if I can find these for you guys, because you'll laugh. I have these for those days where I'm just feeling like I don't have any wins. And it's just a book of adult stickers. I didn't eat my feelings. I cooked for myself. So it's these different adult stickers, and they were a joke from a friend, but sometimes they help me really check into I'm doing something for myself. I had some kind of win. So when I'm really fatigued, I'm exhausted, I'm having a really stressful or high anxiety day, I flip through these and it just kind of makes me feel a little bit better. I did the laundry. I made a sensible choice. I put my phone away. And at the end of the day, these things are good for mental health. A lot of these are good for mental health. I did the laundry. If you allow your environment to just kind of fall apart, then it's going to affect your mental health. And that's kind of a sneak peek of a video that's coming up this weekend too. But yeah, I ignored the online troll. I think we all need that sticker. But remember when we were kids and we all had little star charts, and it was so exciting because we'd get stickers for this and that. And then as an adult, we didn't get it anymore, and I wanted my stickers. So that was a gift from a friend one year, and I think it's really important to connect to the small things. Philip asked, do you think that suicide has a genetic component? I very much think that depression has a genetic component, but the way I look at it is genetics loads the gun, but our lifestyle and the way that we choose to show up in the world and the decisions we make is what pulls the trigger. So that's my opinion on genetics and how it plays into mental health. What helped me a good deal, Casca says, was learning meditation. I do. It's only 10 minutes only, but I take 10 minutes every morning to meditate, and I'm on an 88-day streak now, I think. It was something that I did very irregularly, and as I've been processing a lot of heavy stuff since divorce and miscarriage and all these things, I really thought that I needed to add a few more things into my routine and into my life to make sure that I'm at my optimal place, and that was one of them. So I'm on, I think, an 88-day streak for daily meditation of 10 minutes or more. One and only Marcus in the house. I suffer from anxiety and depression. I love listening to you. It helps me. Thank you so much. That makes me feel so happy. How about dating? Casper asks. I'm just about ready to start dating after a 9-year relationship, but still, I'm mentally stressed any knowledge if it's not a match. When you have a stretch that long, it's really easy to want to attach to someone. So I think the problem in that is we tend to settle for less than we know we're worth. So we have this set of criteria of this is what I'm looking for in a person. And there's the make or breaks that I need this in a person. These are things that I can't work around. These are the traits that this person has to have, and these are the things that I like them to have. And if we're coming from a place of loneliness, then we're going to accept less. So it's, well, I really wanted this person to have these traits, but they don't, and that's okay because they're a nice person. So I suppose I'll just try out a relationship. Do not do that. Make sure that you sit down and think about what your deal breakers are. Think about what you really want in a person and have absolutely no shame. Do not come from a place of lack in saying, you know what, this just isn't working for me. You're a lovely person, but this just isn't what I'm looking for. Have absolutely no shame and don't be afraid. Don't come from a place of lack while continuing to try. That's my advice on that, is really making sure that you're in a healthy place with yourself and your self-esteem and your self-worth when you start dating, because it's going to ensure that your relationship, your future relationship, which you will find, is going to be healthy. And that's what you want. Just finding someone that's going to make you feel less alone isn't the key. Someone that's going to help you be the happiest and healthiest version of yourself, trust me, I'm talking from experience, is the goal. So make sure that you're in the healthiest place that you can be, and make sure that you know what you want so you're not settling for less. And that will have so many long-lasting impacts on your mental health. Thank you so much, Philip. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys supporting in this way, supporting the mental health outreach, supporting this big project that I'm biting at the bit. I'm actually going to be sharing it this weekend over on Patreon. So I'm going to be sharing the project, finally breaking the news over there. And then I will be letting you guys know by the end of the month. And the reason I'm sharing on Patreon is because all of my Patreons get to have a sneak peek and try it out before it is released into the world. So keep that in mind, just another Patreon perk. Although there's already many, you get to have little intimate Zoom calls with me where we're all on video, unless you don't want to be on video, and hang out and talk, and we're much more relaxed, and it's just kind of a hangout as opposed to a mental health talk specifically. That's where we really get into the Dexter and the Breaking Bad and the Handmaid's Tale and crazy, crazy, crazy talk. Hey, there's another Amanda. Amanda McCool. You think you're the cooler Amanda now? I see how this is. Yes, Ragnarok says, sometimes even going to the store seems like a mission to me. Can anyone identify I procrastinate? Right here, this gal, break it down. I made a video about this, about how to function when you don't even feel like getting out of bed. Break it down into steps. Instead of saying, I need to go to the store, I need to get all these things. You know what? Right now, I'm just going to get out of bed. And right now, I'm just going to get dressed, and just break it down into small steps. That's what got me into routines like going to the gym or being able to do things like that. And I try to plan so that I only have so many trips a week. So I try to plan so I only have to go to the store once, maybe twice a week, just to conserve my energy as much as possible. I love it, Casper says. Great perspective on going for love out there, and you will find it. I believe in you. David Gabbs, so many chats, so many messages, so many people. It's hard to keep up, but I'm so happy about this community growing. Love y'all. Sorry, Amanda, I missed your talk. It's okay. I love you too. I love you. And there are so many chats, and I just want to let you know that if I don't see your comment, if I don't see your message, it's not because I'm ignoring you. There's just so many. And I do, as I said, definitely see the super stickers, and I'm trying to read as much as I can. I'm trying to connect as much as I can, but I'm really sorry if I don't get to everyone, if I don't see everyone. I was trying to see Carrie's message for her snaps because I wanted to make sure she got her snaps. Oh, here we go. I procrastinated a paper that my college career was poised on for an entire year. I started working on it 3 days before I had to turn it in. Was that your snap? Because snaps for you if you could get that done. I'll go back a little bit further and see if I can find that. But yeah, if you can get that done in 3 days, snaps for you. Nope, I don't see anything else. So did you? Okay, I think I'm pretty much caught up. Oh, there's a fellowship called Suicide Anonymous. It's a 12-step program, and they are really helpful too. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, Johnny Carlson. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Nicotine seems to be very addictive. It is very addictive. Glad I've never tried smoking. Don't. Big savings that I have done many things for. So my parents and my dad smoked 3 packs a day from the time he was 12 to 55. Now keep in mind that cigarettes were cheaper back when he was younger, in the 50s, 60s. I guess it would have been it would have been 50s. So in the 50s, when my dad was young, obviously cigarettes were cheaper, but they did kind of a math equation for how much money he'd spent over the years on cigarettes, and adjusted obviously for inflation. And it was enough to put a significant down payment on a house or buy a car. And I want to say this was in the 90s. It was something like $80,000 or $90,000. It was absolutely freaking insane. It was ridiculous how much money was wasted on cigarettes over the years and how much that could have done. Smoking is definitely not best for you. I agree. Smoking, again, isn't the best for you, but if you need it for a bit to help yourself, I won't judge. The night my mom died, I was so dissociated and so much shock, and the orderly So the nurse that was helping me, because I ended up getting admitted to the ER, the nurse that was helping me ended up giving me half a pack of cigarettes, and I smoked, and I ended up smoking for a while after that. That was the time that I really smoked. I smoked when I smoked when I was a teenager, and unfortunately I was smoking when my dad passed away, and he had said, I can't believe that you can watch me die and still light up a cigarette, and that will haunt me for the rest of my life. But I ended up quitting on his birthday, obviously many, many years ago now, and have not. I think I've had a couple of cigarettes over the years, and that I understand the need sometimes just for getting through that really, really traumatic situation, but make sure that you're moving toward healing. So if that's what you need in the moment to get through that moment, that is okay, but don't let that moment just keep persisting. Don't keep making reasons for it to keep persisting. I don't have people like that. Just some awesome person says, I don't have people like that in my close circle. It rarely happens that someone judges like that. That never lasts long. Well, you are lucky to not have people that judge in your circle. I've tended to just kind of close those people out of my life and just step away from them, because it's very important that we are surrounding ourselves with people that are loving and supportive and not judging us. And I can't tell you how much different I feel mentally, how much more energy I have, just only allowing people in my life that build up my energy like that. It makes a huge difference. Oh my gosh, we're so chatty this morning. I love it, love it, love it. Metal Mark says, all that money for cigarettes literally up in smoke, but I'm Carrie, basically I didn't defeat myself before giving myself a chance, even though it's something I wasn't very proud of. The fact that I even did it and turned it in was a big thing for me. Yes, it's huge. You know, you made an effort, and that very much counts. How long have you been taking the nutritional mix in the morning? How long did it take to feel the benefit? And how did you determine the ingredients? Well, I actually majored in holistic nutrition, so I did know a lot about food and its benefits and how different things react to us. So I did have a formal background on the education aspect of it. I kind of put it together, and there's a lot of tweaks that went into it over time, but I started doing it, I would say, let's see, I'd had a latte with a friend over the fall, and it kind of inspired me to try and make my own, because I really liked this vegan chai latte that I tried. So it inspired me to try and make my own, but I wanted to make it with as many benefits as possible, because I really believe that nutrition is medicine, and it can be a huge tool in our mental health. So I started it late fall, early winter, and it took a couple of months for me to feel the benefits, but I knew that I would. Actually, probably not even a couple months. I started feeling the benefits after a few weeks, and then it increased for several months and then kind of plateaued. So now I definitely feel the benefits, but I feel them at a plateaued state. So it's not like I'm feeling more benefits now, but I still feel those base benefits. Great question. Cascus has been single for over 17 years or so, mainly by choice. I'm good at being on my own with my dogs. If I meet someone that I resonate with, that is fine as well. That is the perfect mindset to have in place to be. And everyone should kind of aspire to be there, that I am a strong person by myself. I am worthy and I am amazing. I don't need someone else to validate me. But now that I have this person in my life that brings so much into my life and that helps me and that builds me up, that is also amazing. So snaps for you, actually, for having that mentality. I know it's very hard to get to, but it is amazing once you get there. Carrie, you are absolutely not a burden, not even a little bit. You're not hurting anyone, and you're not a burden. I think that it's really amazing that we're here sharing this. And as I always say, that is how we shatter the stigma, as we talk about it and we normalize it. And none of us here are burdening each other. Look at this. This is what happens is you guys share your stories, and that helps other people open up. So it's just a cycle, and then we can all get it out and allow ourselves to heal. I never noticed there was a sticker on the bottom of this. Oh, gotta mix the latte up a little bit. Every now and then I make slight iterations to it too. You can add nutmeg to it as well. I know chai has nutmeg in it. So sometimes I add a little bit of nutmeg. Sometimes I add other things, but you can switch it up a little bit. But I love it, love it, love it. Casper says, been a big fan of Stoicism perspective lately. If you don't know this, please check it out. Seneca is my favorite Stoic, so I have been looking into that a lot for the past probably about a year or so. Of course, Marcus Aurelius is amazing, but I really connect to Seneca. I don't know why, but I really connect more to Seneca. But yeah, I do think that there's a lot in Stoicism that is very helpful toward shifting your perspective in a mental health realm. Oh, I went to scroll down a little bit and it just totally glitched. Glitch. Just an awesome person. The smoking thing is something I'm working really hard on quitting too. I'm now down to 3 times a day. Sports is really helping with that. I tried to quit instantly, but that just didn't work. Hey, you do what you got to do to get to where you want to be. Sometimes it's all at once. Sometimes it's one step in the right direction and weaning yourself off. But the important thing is knowing where you are going. John Bubba, yeah, freaking things are addictive as hell, but unfortunately I got hooked after a traumatic event, seeing multiple bodies being pulled out of a river. My hands were shaking like leaves in the wind. Yeah, like I said, I started smoking after losing my mom. Well, I'd smoked as a teenager too, after being sexually assaulted and dealing with a lot of trauma then. That is huge. And I understand how some people tend to get more addictive about it. I was able to quit when I really set my mind to quitting. It just got to that point. It was like I wanted to quit and I tried and I failed and I tried and I failed. And it was kind of like when I wanted to heal and I tried and it didn't get there. I tried and it didn't get there. But once I really had this burning desire inside of me, nobody was going to stop me. Nothing was going to stop me. It was okay. I'm going to heal. It's okay. I'm going to quit. And I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to start moving in that direction. So it's just having that real understanding of there's other things that I can do to really help with the trauma, to help move through that. Because when you think about it, cigarettes aren't doing anything positive for trauma. They're not helping us process the trauma. They're not helping us deal with the trauma. They can be vices in the very short term to help just take the edge off. But in the long term, they're not doing anything for us except inhibiting us because they're making us more unhealthy. Most vices are going to make you more tired. They're going to create brain fog. So you're not allowing your brain to process and figure out how to effectively move through that trauma, which is obviously mostly the goal, most technical. Yep, Ashley says, I'm tired. Lee says it's nap time. Your boy JT, is this Justin Timberlake? So that's pretty awesome. I had a relationship where the other one made me feel like I needed her. Now that I am not seeing her, I suddenly feel better. Weird, huh? Not weird at all, because that person, yeah, I've been there where I thought I needed a person. That person kind of manipulated me into thinking that I needed them to survive. And then once I got out and realized I don't need you at all. I'm perfectly fine on my own. It was a very empowering moment and helped a lot. Carrie says, this has meant a lot to me this morning. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for dropping by. Oh, Warrior Poet's here. Good morning. Quitting was very hard for me and took many years. I was instantly addicted and I have an addictive personality, likely due to alcoholism running rampant. Both sides of my family. My mom was a recovered alcoholic and I had a very addictive personality too. I went through pills, I went through cocaine, I went through cigarettes, I went through many things because I just always felt like I needed something to get me by. And then once I realized I actually didn't need those things, once I understood that intrinsically, then it really helped me start moving forward. Mike says, I smoked for over 25 years and quit because smoked past tense. Awesome. Snaps for you. James, hello. I missed you. You haven't been in our chats. I haven't seen you on Patreon. I missed you so much. I'm happy to see you here. You can't leave us. I wish the rest of the world had the same mentality, David, leaving sessions and things like this and going back into the world is a stark contrast. You know, I've gotten to the point where, again, it's cutting the crap. That's one of my 5 puzzle pieces of happiness, is cutting the crap and shifting the focus of what we allow into our lives. So yes, there's crappy people out there. Yes, there's people that don't understand, but we have the option to surround ourselves with people like this community, to let people in our lives go. We have the option of what we're intaking, the media we intake, the things that we are letting into our brains. And that is huge for mental health. So going back into the real world, you know, that we're from the world, I promise. We're all here in the same world you are. And there's plenty of us that you can connect with. And there's plenty of things you can do while going through your day that can help kind of shift that perspective a little bit. Because believe it or not, I have a hard time not just hating humanity sometimes, because I struggle wondering, how can people be so cruel and so heartless? And there are people like that, but there are a lot of good people too. And there are a lot of understanding, empathetic people. And I posted this over on my Twitter today because the Ukraine courts, everyone was coming together, and it was really beautiful because they were completely segregated as of a few months ago. And now they're really together, you know, and they shifted that perspective. But we can shift the perspective. We can shift what we're allowing into our lives. There's good people and there's bad people, and we can shift what we allow into our lives. I tend to only allow media into my world that is going to serve me. I listen to uplifting things. I have my own channels that I listen to that either make me laugh, that validate me, that give me opportunities to grow, opportunities to understand things differently. So I encourage you to kind of look at what you can do to cut the crap in your life. Yeah, I totally just Uncle Jesse that. Anybody that is a 90s kid got that. Sharpshooter07 says, I'm being encouraged to share my story. It's very difficult. There's a lot of painful elements to it. You share your story when you're ready. So whenever you are ready to share, whether with us or a professional or a friend, there's always going to be people here to listen. I know that it can seem scary, but I assure you that there's going to be a lot of people that have gone through this too. And once we share our story, this is what I found, is once I share these things that are hurting me and I get it out there, then it's not stuck in my head anymore. Because if you're allowing all that trauma just to be in here, in your head, in your heart, in your body, then it's going to eat you alive, because it very physically does manifest. If we're not finding ways to let that out, it very physically does manifest. So when we can share it, we're actually letting a part of it go, and we're letting go of our need to try to control it. So sharing can very much be very, very healing. It can very much trigger a strong part of the healing process. Alex said nature therapy can also work well. I had a teacher once who did a course about it. It was very nice, though, going for walks and finding calm, quiet places in the sun, in the forest, and just existing. I live in kind of a city, so I have to drive a bit to get out to nature if I really want to do that. But just there's a little park area right next to me, and just going over there and walking barefoot, or just sitting outside with my latte in the morning and taking a deep breath and looking over at the superstitions, or looking at my plants. I saw, oh my gosh, I was out on my back porch. I wasn't up on the balcony. I was out on my back porch, and I was doing my meditation and my Duolingo and my little morning rituals. And I look over, and there's this really pretty purple flower that was growing with a bunch of weeds in this pot that I haven't been tending to because I haven't been growing anything there. So I hadn't been tending to it. And that somehow this really beautiful purple flower had sprouted and was hanging over the ledge, just saying good morning to me. So I very much see the benefit in in that, in, you know, getting into nature, because I had to stop. I was doing my Duolingo and I literally stopped and just went, oh my gosh, my gosh, my gosh. And I was very excited about it. Carrie Huffman, I did cut out politics until Ukraine and Roe came into the picture, and now I'm feeling consumed again and then feel guilty when I don't pay attention. Here's the thing is those things, yes, can be very upsetting. The Ukraine obviously is bringing a lot of attention to the suffering, and Roe can be very frightening, you know, as we don't know what the future of that is, and it can be frightening because it can bring up a lot of past trauma. It can bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of fear. So I am aware of that going on, both those things obviously going on. And there's a difference between staying informed, which obviously is important to know what's going on, but if we can't do anything about it, watching it all day, every day, and checking up on the updates of it all day, every day isn't helping. So my suggestion is, if you have to be updated about these two specific things, to take 5 minutes or so in the morning or in the evening or whatever, whenever is good for you. Take 5 minutes to say, okay, I'm going to check this right now, set a timer, check the news, be done. You informed yourself, you know what's going on. And then if there is trauma that's coming up, if there is fear that's coming up, allow that to come up, but allow it to come up in a way of, here's these thoughts, and I'm not going to obsess on what I can't control. What can I control? Can I contribute in some way to help refugees? Can I do something to volunteer for women, to help in that case, to help pregnant women or to help women in crisis or whatever the case is? Can I do something to help? And then you're not obsessing over the news. You're doing something very practical that's going to make you feel better. That's what helps me, because these things are scary to see in the news, and they are, good job, David. David called Full House. They are very overwhelming, and they can really weigh on our mental health. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be informed. Just kind of limit how much media you're consuming and what media you're consuming, and see if you can focus on the positive things, the positive aspects, and what we can do. Matthew Martin says, my birthday is June 3rd. I will be 36. It's been 31 years of mental illness, and I'm still standing strong, letting the dark know who's boss. Snaps for you. Snaps for you to keep fighting and staying strong. I am very proud of you. I love my morning glories too. All my lily is open today. Krishna says all of his lily is open today. The whole yard is awash in white blossoms. I can't wait for that to happen. I mean, I just have a few marigolds, so I'll just have a little cluster. But I loved seeing that one flower. It was so beautiful. It was so amazing. I love connecting to the little things. I love the way that the light spills into my house in the morning. Just, it kind of gives it this gold shimmer. I know I shared in my day in the life of vlog, right behind the computer here is a window. And if I open the curtain that I have here, if I catch it the right time in the morning, the screen kind of shimmers gold. And I really like that. And it's just connecting to those little things. It's so amazing. James, oh, I forgot, everyone, we have a Discord. Yes, can you drop that again, James? I think David had dropped our Discord link earlier, but yes, make sure to drop the Discord link. We do have amazing merchandise. James bought a shirt. He looks so sexy in it. We posted over in the community. It is very comfy. Billy Bob Thornton is sporting my shirt, guys. I got to post a picture of that soon. I told him he needs to take a picture, but Billy Bob Thornton is sporting my shirt. Creole catfishing. I hope you have a good day. Gotta go. Bonsoir. À tout à l'heure. Merci beaucoup d'être ici avec nous. Got 2 wolf dogs. They're gorgeous. So cute. So we're into our 20 minutes. Last 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, that went by so fast. Just want to make sure that if anyone has any snaps they want to share, if anybody has any topics they want to touch on, that we are doing that. Just some awesome person. Discord is it's kind of a chat thing where everybody can connect to me. I don't like the setup of it, so it's a little difficult for me to follow, but it's just kind of a chat board type thing. That's what it reminds me of, where a lot of community members go and hang out and talk and support each other. So I'm so glad that you guys feel comfortable. I do. Oh, wow. Lee Wesley says the doctors told my mom and dad that I would not last 3 months after I was born because I was born a month early and I'm now 38 years old. Well, snaps to that. I was told that I'd never walk, and I ran on a treadmill this morning. I know some of you guys will know the significance to that. That's the third time since the incident back in 2020. I got on a treadmill this morning, and there's the part of me I'm getting over, not getting over, but I'm using that exposure therapy, and I'm confronting my fears, but also I'm proving all those doctors wrong. So James says, I've shared everything with Amanda and she still talks to me, and that's scary. Silly goose. Lee says, that's a victory for you then. It very much is. I've been avoiding the treadmill for way too long and I miss it, so I've been trying to ease myself back. And the first time I did it was on my exposure therapy vlog, and I explain why that's so significant to me. And that was the first time I had gotten on it in in almost 2 years. So yeah, almost 2 years. So yes, it was a big victory for me this morning. Snaps for me. Snaps for Amanda. I'll give myself snaps. I know you guys are snapping for me, and I just can't hear it because we're on this. But yeah, if you guys come over to Patreon, we actually do Zoom calls so we can all see each other's faces and hang out like that. And sometimes it's mental health related. Sometimes it's just murder and mimosas. Well, not murder and mimosas, but we're not quite that cool over there yet. Oh, Carrie gave me snaps. Thank you, love. Dead son, I need to exercise more, just zero motivation, sadly. I feel like a broken record right now, but you guys are just pointing out all the things that's in my happiness boost course and all the things that are in that free 5-day challenge. I did not go in with the intent of talking about this, but it's really important to find your fitness. And that's another of the puzzle pieces of happiness, is finding your fitness, because exercise does not always mean going to the gym and burning out circuits or doing the treadmill or whatever the case is, lifting weights. There's so many ways to get the benefits of it, and finding that way for you is something that we focus on. Meadowmark says, homework for your weekend, Amanda, work on your snaps. I swear it's just not picking up because they sound pretty loud to me. Can you not hear that, guys? My anxiety creeps in around bedtime too, Carrie. And a big reason for that, I've been working with that, because I found a big reason for that is if I don't give myself time during the day to just exist, then once it gets to bedtime, my brain is, hey, all those things you've been ignoring all day are going to get brought to the surface now. So I've learned to take more time during the day to just go for a walk or journal or do whatever, just to sit with my thoughts so I'm not ruminating at night, and it has helped immensely. Felipe has to leave. I have to take a bath and force myself to go to a social gathering where I live. Small steps to work on your social anxiety. Well, I hope that the tips from earlier help you get through that. I know that you will do this, but I hope you have a good day, and I hope that you can find some enjoyment in this social gathering. So thank you for joining us. Edward says, stop hashing on my gym buzz. Hey, I love doing strength training and stuff now. I enjoy it. It really helps, but it's not the only way. It's not the only thing to do. David says, I put on music to motivate my exercise. I can get absorbed by the beats and energy and push through the exercise. I love to listen to French podcasts because it kind of takes me into another place mentally. So I'm not sitting there going, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. This is what my body is feeling. It's just a way to kind of get lost in the whole experience. And then I'm multitasking a bit too. So many hearts. Look at all the hearts. Look at all the hearts in the chat. Ashley Martin, can you elaborate? Yes, I think that, yeah. Ashley, can you elaborate on what you meant, what you were talking about? Just for clarification. I want to make sure that you're okay. Please let us know that you're okay and that you're safe right now. I love this. John Bubba says, I've been there. Something I did was put it on my wall as a trophy for defeating an unseen enemy. Wasn't easy, but it's doable. I love that. My mom is getting much happier now. She's able to go out shopping with me much more than usual. Well, snaps for your mom, Lee, for confronting her anxiety and stuff. Okay, Ashley is okay. Good. I'm glad you're okay. I worry. I meant okay as in safe. I know that you might not be okay right now, but I just want to make sure that you are safe. Sold my gun. Okay. Whatever you have to do, to be safe. I had to turn over my yoga straps and stuff to a friend. Actually, it was to my ex at the time. It was to my, at the time, husband. I turned over my yoga straps because that was what I was ruminating on when I started having some suicidal ideation. That was what I was ruminating on at that moment. And I gave those to him to keep safe. And there's been multiple times where I've given things to people just to make sure that I'm safe. And then I don't have to think about that. I can worry about healing and going. Panda Median Music, how's it going? Amazing. How are you? Panda. I like pandas because it sounds like Manda. Edward's right, Ashley. We are absolutely here. If you need anything, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. You know what? Snaps for you, Ashley, because I'm proud of you for taking that step in staying safe. It's huge. Jonathan, you kept popping up, so I came back. That's what I do. That's what I was saying. If you guys can handle me popping up for 5 days in your mailbox, make sure to sign up for that free 5-day happiness boost challenge. It can have a lot of impact on your mental health just in those 5 days, just knowing that framework of what can really move you forward. But yes, I know I'm popping up a lot because I'm producing content every single day for Mental Health Awareness Month. Panda's doing great for today. That's what matters. Amanda the Love Panda. Bow chicka wow wow. I mortgaged my house to buy most of Amanda's merch. You know, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, you can always tie a bunch of the shirts together and make a tent, I suppose. That's what I was afraid of. I figured it wasn't possible. What were you afraid of wasn't possible, Bob? You guys make me giggle. What else could you need with that much Amanda? See? Just so much Amanda essence in your life. Matthew says, I put the woman thing on the back burner. If she responds, if not, life goes on. So Pop-Tarts and a rock star and kick ass? Yes, kick ass. Life is beautiful right now. It absolutely is. Proud of you. That is where you want to be. If she responds, cool. If not, you are still amazing, worthy, and lovable, and nothing can change that. Hi, Ryan. I am doing good. How are you? Thank you. So, love your reaction vid. Not sure which one you're referring to, but thank you. John Boa says, hell, as pro-hun in 2 ways I am, I can understand, pro-gun. I can understand getting rid of it if your trust in yourself to have such a thing is too low. Yep, doesn't mean anything bad about you. It means you're wise. It is. It's a lot of times life is just really being self-aware of our needs and our boundaries and our triggers and working with them accordingly. I think that that's huge in so many ways. Can never get too much Amanda. Jonathan, man, I've had people trying to tell me to start a YouTube channel. Well, it doesn't matter what they say and what they tell you and what they want. If you want to start a YouTube channel, then go right ahead. I might be living in a tent watching the market yesterday and today. Oh, Sabaton, Sympathy of War. That's what I'm listening to. Cool. Oh, Lee says, Amanda, if it was not for you, then nobody would have a hero in their lives. It means so much. I was just thinking this morning of how much I'd rather be the hero than the victim. And I used to really hold on to this idea that I was a victim of sexual assault and I was a victim of narcissistic abuse and I was a victim of XYZ, all these things. And once I started realizing, okay, I can say I'm a victim and these things happen to me, or I can say I'm the hero and these things happen for me to help me grow. And even if I hated them and they sucked and they were uncomfortable and painful, I've evolved and I've grown because of them. And just knowing that I can overcome so much has really given me more of my own inner hero mentality. So when other people notice it, it means a lot. Oh, I got to be somebody's hero today. That just made my day. I've been using a lot, Panda says, I've been using a lot of your advice as of late. I've had a few suppressed things come to light after 30 years. Been a rough time, but gives me an ocean of music to write. Thank you for your mission. Well, that's so amazing because something beautiful is coming out of it. And it's giving you an opportunity to process what's coming up. There are things in my life from my teenage years. Literally, there was a relationship that it was almost half my life ago that I realized was throwing up a lot of insecurities and stuff. And now recognizing it and knowing that I have the opportunity to confront it has been huge, and it's been amazing, and it's been awesome to be able to start moving through that. So I think it's beautiful that these things are coming to light after 30 years, because that means that they're not weighing you down. They're not going to be in your subconscious weighing you down anymore. You're going to get it out through your music. You're going to turn into something beautiful, just like I was turning my worries into the flowers by burning paper and planting the ash, or planting the seeds over the ash. We can turn these things into beautiful things if we're willing, and if we tap into a little bit of creativity. Wear the scars with pride. Life tried to break you, but you failed. Badges of honor. Sorry if it feels like I'm picking on you. Nope. I think that is beautiful. John was talking to Bubba. That's beautiful advice. I know that I have scars, and I know that that's part of my story. And I look at my scars now and say, that is when life tried to break me and failed. And I overcame that, and I'm here. So I am proud of mine. Yeah, David says, remember the victories, the scars that you defeated. Exactly. Amanda's our Chester, and we can. Okay, you guys cannot make me cry, David. You can't make me cry on stream this morning. I feel like I've probably been crying a lot throughout my reactions and stuff. You can't make me cry on stream this morning. We are down to the last 10 minutes, just so everybody knows. So if you do want to pledge toward that mental health project, if you do want to make sure that your comment is read, if you have anything left that you want to share during this time, this is the perfect time to do so. As we wind down, I encourage all of you, like I said, to check out that free 5-day challenge, because it came up so many times today. I feel like it's really trying to send us a message that it's something that we can all use to help us move one more step in the right direction. I have never had someone come out of that challenge and not say that they learned something very helpful for their mental health journey, and maybe they move forward with the Happiness Boost course, and maybe they don't. It's just that learning that framework a lot of the times is all people need to be able to start healing. So I want to share that. Like I said, we have the goal here of hitting 50,000 subscribers, 100 Patreons. So please, please, please make sure that you are sharing the videos this month. If you are able, jump over on our Patreon. We would love to have you. There are so many things that I'm only able to do because of you guys, and this big project is one of them. If I did not have the support, I would not be able to do this and to bring it into fruition and make this big, huge difference in the mental health world. And I've already discussed this project with several professionals who agree that it's going to make a huge difference. And I just want to remind you that without your pledges here, without your Patreon support, without these things, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I am just so appreciative from the bottom of my heart for your support, for you subscribing to the channel so we can grow the community, so we can all come together. I really, really love and appreciate you guys. Ironically, using a Virginia Slims cigarette ad. Amanda, you've come a long way, baby. Thanks. Yes, Ryan, can you do a reaction to Rascal Flatts? My wish. I can. Right now, all of my reaction all of the pledges and stuff for reactions will be done next month. So I can just know that it's going to be a few weeks. So if you do pledge or if you do become a Patreon, then yes, I can absolutely do a reaction and continue doing that. Just know that it's going to be a few weeks because I'm just so I'm so scheduled out with Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm trying to make sure that I'm catching everyone and everything. I wish everyone a good day or night, depending on where you are. Stay safe. And remember, someone is always thinking of you. Absolutely. I think of you guys so often. You have no idea. The regulars here that come in, that share their stories, you guys are in my heart so much and in my thoughts. And I hope that you're feeling that. I hope you're just feeling the energy that I send when I think about you. Yes, Ryan. You can pledge here or you can do Patreon, whichever you're more comfortable with. Or beautiful. Oh. I'm assuming you're trying to say au revoir. And au revoir to you as well. Oh, Cassie, or Carrie, I'm sorry. We have a Carrie, a Cassie, and a Casca, and I get confused. Carrie says, thank you, Amanda, and everyone for today. I really needed it. Glad to help, glad to be here, glad to serve, glad to connect. Casca says, experience may have shaped me, but they do not define me. Exactly. You probably need to do more vids and screen time. That'll get you 50,000 quickly. I am doing daily videos right now, Jonathan. What more do you want from me? That's slurred French. That's drunk French. Absolutely. Most people are afraid to stare death in the face. Having depression means I stare death in the face every day, and every day it backs down. Absolutely. You tell it who's boss. We can fight back. That's the important thing to remember is, yes, we have to face it, but we can fight back against it. And that's the takeaway. I understand still. There's an old man that's been there. You ain't alone, all right? I've been shot, stabbed, and other crap. Why I'm still kicking is beyond me. Yes, you know why you're still kicking? Because you're a fighter and you're stronger than you realize. That's why you're still kicking. Oh, so much. Oh, Samish says, I still have that owl picture. Well, you hang it and you think of me whenever you are needing strength, because owls have always brought me strength. Number one, they remind me of my mom and her energy, which is a lot of the loving energy I get, obviously, is from my parents. But number two, owls represent wisdom. So whenever you're just needing some insight, maybe think of that and just look at the picture and see what comes to mind, see what wisdom and insight comes to mind. Candace says, I sent you an email, hopefully to the right email address. Much love. If it's the email address that is in my video descriptions, it is the right email address. I will watch out for that. Thank you so much. Matthew says, love you all. Thanks for being my angels. Glad I could be someone's Monica, Chester, and hero today. Monica being the angel from Touched by Angel, that show back in the 90s. Only if you're drunk French. David Gaps is reading Amanda's romance novels. Now I'm going to have to send David French romance novels to read. Challenge. Well, I very much appreciate the pledges today. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with all of you. I know, Edward's saying, no, yes, I have to jump off, but I promise, like I said, daily content. If you need more, you can always sign up for that free 5-day challenge. I'll come over into your inbox every day for 5 days. I'm trying so hard to just give you guys so much while still feeling all of your energy for myself this month. So I'm glad that I could check in. I'm glad that I could help in some way. Carrie's going to meditate. I love it. So many people are saying that they're going to do good things. So yes, go take care of yourself. Go do something positive for yourself and share it in the comments of this live stream once you're done later today. I love you guys so much. I'll see you either later in the comments here on the videos or at the next stream. Mwah. Oh, thank you, Eddie. I saw that rise. I was going out. Thank you.